You're listening to DFW Local Zero. I, Jarrod Crescentfresh Gideon, am sitting in the parking lot of the Family Dollar in Denton, Texas, doing a little 35 Denton coverage. I happen to have a good friend of mine and local artist with me, Mr. Blaze One. How are you doing?
Huh? Hey, let me ask, did that used to be the old Rockin' Rodeo? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that used to be the Rockin' Rodeo.
Wow. That's awesome.
They moved to a much more prime storefront location.
But they left the sign up just to let people know that they used to be there?
Yeah, I guess so. I think it's more like they just moved out and just left their furniture in there, including the sign.
Awesome.
So have you been out watching actual music here at 35 Denton?
Nah, man, I've had my son. Actually, last night we went and saw me, Character, Pudge, and Juice went to go see Star Power at Abby's Underground, but they
Star Party?
Star Party, that's it, yeah. We went and saw them. Last night we saw an old rapper named Dose One, not an old rapper, that sounds like an insult, but a veteran rapper named Dose One. He has an EDM group with some chick, and they were performing at Haley's. We caught that, and then last night we went to Star Party after that, and it was interesting, but that's literally all I've saw of 35 Denton so far.
Yeah, I got to see Physics on Friday night before I headed out, and
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, they're from Maryland, Virginia area, Washington D.C. greater metropolitan area, okay. And I don't know who they are really, but they were really good. They kind of remind me a little bit of kind of like a Black Eyed Peas type of act.
So it was rap, or
it's like hip hop with a live band.
Okay.
And then like a Fergie-esque girl, okay. With cute butt and a good voice, dancing around.
That's automatically they're gonna sell records right there, or
yeah.
Or tickets at least.
I don't want to sell her short by saying she's just hot or whatever. She could sing. They were throwing it down, and they had a good front man that was doing a mix of singing and rapping, and
right.
And they did some covers in there and stuff, and they kept the crowd pretty hyped. There were some covers that I didn't know, but I could tell they were covers. Right. Because the people in the front were like jumping around and singing along and stuff like that. So that's pretty much all I've really seen of it. I got to see a little bit of I got to see Character set on Friday night.
See, I had my son. I had my son this weekend, and I had to work because I really live in Dallas, so it's hard for me to get out to Denton during the week. So I had my son this weekend, and I was able to get out last night. We actually had a set at Haley's like around 5, but I don't think it was part of 35 Denton. I think we got shunned, so we just kind of did our own set with Wee Beasties and Juice the Emissary.
Timber!
Yes.
So yeah, I got to see that, and I don't think enough people were out early enough to see Character. There were people there. It wasn't like it was a graveyard in there by any means. But Character still brought the energy he usually does, even though his normal shows outside of 35 Denton usually have a way bigger, more enthusiastic crowd. He still brought it. And then they had the Battle Royale.
I heard about that. I saw pictures of it. I didn't.
I'm gonna be real. I wasn't that impressed. I got to see Pap, which I love that guy.
Right.
So, but it was like 2 songs or 2 parts that he did on that, or 3 maybe. So
what was it like? Was it like a big like a freestyle or something, or what? Like just a big?
They would just like the DJ randomly plays a beat that you're supposed to be rapping over, but you don't know when you're coming up next, I guess.
Okay.
So it's almost more like a rap lottery more than a battle royal.
That's dope.
Because nobody gets thrown off the stage. So,
okay.
And so like the DJ has like a sound effect on his pads or whatever that's like kind of like a bell ring at a wrestling match.
Okay.
And then he kicks the beat on, and then everyone get whoever's supposed to sing next, they get excited, and their face will light up, and then they grab the mic and they get up there, and then if anybody knows the hype parts, the people behind them will start hyping them and stuff like that. And I wasn't that impressed with it because a lot of those guys they need like mic lessons or something. It's okay to cup the mic, but they were like really cupping it, so everything sounded like. Who all was in it? Like, I don't really recognize a lot of the guys.
Was Buck in there?
It was Duke. I know for sure was up there.
Duke has got a a really good show. I was surprised. Like I've
He
just
was
been seeing him
fine.
a couple times, man. He's actually
There was
really,
a really
really
big
impressive.
Hispanic dude.
Probably Joe, Freestyle Joe,
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with those guys yet. It was a. It was,
or Massa.
he's wearing like a record label T-shirt.
There's probably Massa then of
But he's a huge dude.
yeah. I know who you're talking about. Man.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's like they're used to a different style of mic that doesn't really do that, but like the I guess the diaphragm inside that mic, if you blow into it when you're talking by cupping it, I guess it puts pressure on it, so it just kind of goes, you know.
Some people just haven't been, and to be plainly honest, some people just haven't been performing as long. They don't know the rules and Nobody has set them down and said, this is how you hold the mic. This is how you need to do when you're performing. I had a sound man told me, don't. I mean, I'd have to use the microphone to show you, but don't ever hold the microphone above this line right here, because that's what's gonna throw it off. So I always make sure to hold it right at that line, you know, because you want to look cool as a rapper. I know you want to look like you're holding at the very top, but you can't do it, man. You can't get away with it, and it still sound good. So you gotta.
I'll do it if I'm being real quiet. If I'm yelling, you don't want to do it. It'd be like if you're doing like a real quiet part where you're just really talking real low,
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah, I got this right here,
Right.
really low. Then it won't really have that effect,
Right.
to where it'll distort. But like, yeah, if you're just going full volume on it, it'll distort like crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure. It'll come out real fuzzy.
Yeah, I always tell people go look at Whitney Houston videos and watch how she sings into a mic.
Yeah, I mean
she's
it's
the
just
best.
it's so hard. It's so hard to look cool holding the mic like you're Bob Barker, you know, like old school Price is Right. So it's like, so you have to find that, you have to learn how to hold the mic right without
Practice
it
at
being
home with a mirror.
with it looking cool. And yeah, I mean, I used to hold it, I used to cuff it like that, and then somebody taught me actually how to do it. But you know, I was like 18, but I'm 32 now, so I mean, like I said, it's one of those things where you just have to have somebody kind of coach you, or that you haven't had somebody in your ring coaching you how to perform properly live. And anybody, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but anybody that's seen me perform live knows that I definitely know how to come across on stage more than anything. So I mean, that's where I'm the most comfortable at. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, everybody gets there in their life.
Yeah, I think that like a year or two ago, when I first started coming out and seeing a lot of you guys, like I haven't seen you until like a few months ago, and then you know, and maybe I did see you and I don't remember.
Right.
But like started coming out and seeing Stu. I started coming out and seeing like Pudge and you know Fab Deuce and all that a couple years ago, and just started getting more and more introduced to the hip hop scene. I'm more of a punk rock guy.
Right.
And now that I've seen a lot of the people, good and bad, and I think I have a higher standard now. So it's like before I might have thought it was cool, but now I'm like, I guess that my taste for Denton, Dallas, Fort Worth hip hop is much more refined. So I'm way quicker to be like, oh, this guy's a buster.
I mean, when you're talking about the cream of the crop, though, man, like this, some of the dudes in Denton are some of the best dudes in Dallas, period. Like in the DFW area, period. And you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, I'm from Denton, but I've lived in Dallas for the past 12 years, and I've seen pretty much everybody in the Metroplex worth seeing, and Denton has pretty much 95% of the talent in this area, North Texas area.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, that's what I always tell people. I'm like, if you don't think there's good local hip hop, you need to come out to Denton.
Yeah.
Like it's imperative that you come out to Denton, because it's like your new favorite rapper is probably out here.
Yeah.
You know, and if not your new favorite, one of your new favorites, you know, top 10, something like that.
One of the cool things, man, is Denton, you know, even though I feel like I run with a completely different crowd than some people out in Denton, there's usually a diverse crowd, because, I mean, you have everybody from, you know, from me, Baconomics, Stu. We bring like a different crowd as opposed to AV and Buck and Pat, but they still are great acts to watch, and they still bring out an awesome audience. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's not a certain, you know, Denton doesn't have a certain look, but it's more like a unified, because we're all cool with each other, So, I mean, I grew up with them dudes, man. I known Pap, Buck, AV way longer than I've known anybody in Gitmo, So that's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of a new family too.
Right.
Like it feels like because there's so much has gone on in the past year with Gitmo. It's because
Right.
we've hit the 1 year anniversary at this point. It's so much has gone on with Gitmo that it feels like it's been a few years.
Right.
Because there's been like there's always something happening.
Right.
And speaking of Gitmo, the most recent, greatest, coolest Gitmo thing that we talked about last week is Baconomics.
Right.
There's definitely some other stuff down the pipe. I know Wild Bill's got something going to be released soon.
Yes, sir.
On his own. Pretty sure Stu is constantly trying to bring something out too. I know he's working on some kind of new release.
Right.
It's just like everybody's constantly in the lab just trying to work on stuff and they're trying to get their beats together and whether they do their own or somebody else does them. One question I had about Baconomics is I'm not really familiar with Rob Victim.
Okay.
Give me a little bit of history about him.
Rob actually he used to be in a group with Mr. Dibbs of Atmosphere's old tour DJ. Started Scribble Jam, if you're familiar with that. He's from Cincinnati, and Rob has like made his name known around the production circle. Like he's really big on the underground scene, and I mean the whole story about Baconomics. I guess I could run through that.
Yeah, go ahead.
It started out over the summer, this last summer, 2014. Bill had kept hitting me up to come out and do a song with him, and I'm real leery about doing songs with people because I don't listen to new music. So people will send me their music and like, hey, I think we should do a song, but I don't ever listen to it, so I don't know if they can rap or not. So anyway, I was in Denton one weekend, and Bill hit me up and was like, hey man, I see you're in town, come out and do a song. So I was like, okay, whatever. I meet him. He's a 6'8", redhead, giant. And you're like, in my head, I'm like, there's no way this guy can rap at all. At least as good as me. So we get to the studio. Shout out to, this is my first time meeting Richie Flo too. And Richie Flo is, this was back at the A-Dub Studios. So anyway, they drop a beat. I'm like, okay, it's cool. I write a verse. It takes me about 30 minutes to write a verse. I come in.
Well, I don't feel so bad then.
Yeah. I mean, I
I don't do it that quick, but I was still like,
it depends.
I'm like,
yeah.
because a lot of people were real big about how good they are at freestyling and stuff like that.
Right.
And
Well, this is what threw me off, is that it takes me about 30 minutes, and I'm like, that's an average time, I think. So anyway, I got my verse, laid it down. I didn't see Bill write at all. Like he's in and out. Bill's like, I'm gonna take a smoke break. I'm gonna go get a 40 real quick. You want anything? And so I'm in there like, okay, is this guy gonna write? You know what I'm saying? I was like, well, do you got your verse ready? He's like, no, I'll get it. So I'm like, when is he gonna write? So I drop my verse, and then he listens to the beat, and he just starts typing away on his iPad for like 10 minutes, goes in and drops this amazing verse. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, apparently I underestimated this dude, so I'm going to have to go back and rewrite a verse. But I mean, the verse was part of something that made Baconomics, but it was like 8 bars of it, kind of cut and paste. I don't even remember the song anymore. Because the original song that we recorded together never made Baconomics. Nobody's ever heard it. I think we actually lost the file. And anyway, we fuck. Hold on, let me think. Where am I at? All right. So anyway, Bill comes to me and was like, "Hey, bro, I think you're dope. I think we should just do an EP together." And I was like, "Cool." So the next weekend I come back, we shoot the Duck 50 video. If you haven't seen that, that's Wild Bill and Richie Flo. And that was before I even knew Richie could rap. Like, I went and shot that video that day, not knowing that Richie was a rapper or anything. I thought he was just an engineer at A-Dub. So I shoot this video, and Richie starts rapping, and I'm like, this dude's fucking awesome. Like apparently I have entered into an awesome league of rappers, unknown rappers to me. And you know, I've tried to spend all my time in Denton, in Dallas and everything the past 5 years. You know, so I shoot the video for them. We decide we're working on we're gonna go ahead and drop an EP together, and I show Rob the video. I've known Rob since I was 18. We actually, like, that was one of the first dudes I started working with in Dallas, and so I show him the video, and he was like, yo, who is this dude? I got to get this dude out here to rap over some of my beats. And I was like, yeah, man, we're doing an EP together. And Rob was like, oh yeah, let's do a project together. So originally Baconomics was going to be a 5-song EP, which we only recorded 5 songs originally. And after a couple of months of kind of sitting on them, we were like, let's go ahead and just wrap up. Let's go ahead and wrap up another 4 joints and call it not an official album, but at least a long enough EP that, you know.
Yeah, you could sell it off
right,
as a full release.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, technically, it's over 30 minutes. It's, you know, it's an LP, but, you know, that's kind of how it came together. And we originally didn't start the Baconomics thing as a tribute to Bacon or anything. Originally, we were at A-Dub, like right after me and Bill had decided we were going to do a project. It was right before Oaktopia of last year, and we were all sitting at A-Dub. It was me, Richie, Keldrick, Matt Battaglia, and Corey of Oaktopia. We were like, man, we need to come up with a group name for whatever we're doing. And so I had the idea. I was like, well, everybody put 5 words on paper. We'll just tear them up and throw them in a hat and just start picking stuff out. And like we originally said the first 3 words that we were going to pick out would be the name of the group. And the original name of it was going to be called Electronic Bacon Program. And we were like, we felt like it was a bit too much. And so we were like, man, what could we really work with out of that? And I was like, I don't know. I think it should have to do with bacon. That would just be, it would throw people off if it just was something bacon related. And we started going down the list, and I think Matt B said like baconometry or something. Then out of nowhere, I just said Baconomics, and the room fell silent, and that was it. Like, it had there's no deep meaning behind it. Like, we were just fishing for a name.
Yeah.
At that point, and I think that was kind of cool. Like, we could have went by Pregnant Woodchuck or something, you know, like a
Look out, 2016.
Pregnant
The
Woodchuck.
follow up to Baconomics. Pregnant what?
Pregnant Woodchuck.
Pregnant Woodchuck.
Yeah.
Keep your ears and eyes open for that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's how Baconomics was born. And you know, we didn't originally, if you listen to the record, it's not, we make mentions of bacon here and there, but it's not like we're rapping about Baconomics for 30 minutes. Like, we, you know, most of my verses, I think the only thing I say that's related to bacon, I say is I make a reference to baking soda. And I think on turkey bacon, it starts off, that was something else I wanted to clear up, was because I agreed with you. Turkey bacon is not bacon. It's not, the definition of bacon is the fat cut off, the fat of the back of a pig.
Yeah.
So you can't have it. You can't get bacon from turkey. It's like saying you're getting a fucking T-bone from a chicken or something. So, you know, it, but I mean, the original.
We definitely weren't trying to judge the merit of the CD by your ability to name all the songs after bacon stuff.
No.
We were just having a little rib about it.
I know, but I mean, the song starts off by Bill saying "y'all faker than turkey bacon." That's why we called it that. So it's like, so I mean, yeah, turkey. You can't get bacon from turkey. I just wanted to clear that up for all the turkey bacon eaters out there. But beef turkey is awesome. I will say that. If you've never had beef bacon, sorry. Beef turkey.
The other big question was explain the shrinkage.
I can't, because Rob misappropriately he named that record. He named all the records, to be honest. Like every beat that he sent us were these names. Like they would be like Pigmata, something. Everything he sent us was bacon related or pig related. So we just named the songs that because I think when you listen to it, it's a very abstract album. Like we're not really talking about shit, but we're rapping well. I guess that sounds bad to say, but I mean, there's no real theme of the record, so that's why we wanted a bacon theme to kind of on the surface.
You're
it
saying,
looks like
don't stay up all night trying to analyze.
Yeah, right.
Like Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Exactly.
Or something.
Like it's like it's on the surface it's bacon related, but the beats and the rhymes are just hard. Like it's just like I tried to explain it as rape van beats over sensual production. Like it's just crazy shit. Like I think we rap about.
So sometimes the whole song doesn't have to have a meaning.
Right.
Sometimes
no, not
it's
at all.
sometimes it's the verse or even just a string of words within a verse that has a whole lot of meaning. Like some rappers and some musicians in general, they'll have a line in a song that has way more gravity than some entire band's catalog.
Yeah, like I think that's corny, man. Like there's some records where you can do an entire topic, like as far as rap goes, not so much like actual band. Because I mean, I listen to a lot of country, and country is pretty much storytelling, and it's mainly on topic. Every song has a main topic to it. But as far as rap goes, it's hard to rap about a certain topic especially for an entire record. Like if you have one song, you know what I'm saying? Like I have if anybody's familiar with my solo, I have a song called Delilah about my ex-wife. But if I were to make a song on every record about a certain topic, I think it would be not corny, but it would just be kind of like, okay, we get it. You can rap about a topic, you know. But I mean, rap. I feel like rap is different, man. Whereas like rock and country are. You can stay on topic for pretty much the entire album. Not a certain topic, but like you can do a song about every topic. I mean,
I think it just depends on the artist. There's some in every genre. I mean, like there's some hip hop people, for example, that their entire album will be about getting stoned.
Right.
Right. It will be like in different ways, shapes, and forms,
right.
Whether it be smoking or.
But I mean, I feel like that's like an overlying theme to some people's stuff. But I don't think like Cypress Hill. Like I'm not a big fan of Cypress Hill, but they're known for being as like a weed group, I guess, like a weed smoking rap group. But not every song that they do is about smoking weed, or like even most of the stuff. It's just they have that overlying theme to them. Just like I think Baconomics' overlying theme is drugs more than anything. Like I think that's pretty much we at least
that's what I get.
Drugs,
that's what I get from the album cover.
Right.
The album cover actually, to me, and I'm not trying to speak for you guys, the album cover implies to me that bacon is a drug in some ways because people love it so much.
Right.
Right, and it's a huge industry.
Oh, and
right. Like you literally have money that's instead of having the bill wraps, the little paper with the denomination on it, you have bacon wrapped around it, and it's folded up, and it's like it's like 10 grand in a suitcase.
It was like, well, I mean, it's combining economy and bacon, like Reaganomics or something like that. But I mean, yeah, bacon is terrible for you, and like it's probably just as bad as most drugs out there.
So it's like most popular drugs. It's terrible for you and very popular
and awesome. Like you can't. There's vegans probably won't eat bacon for health reasons, but they can't deny how awesome it is. It's
like young people. I tell them that exactly what you just said. When they're like asking me about drugs, which I haven't really done a lot of drugs. I've smoked pot and drank. That's pretty much it, right? But I tell them, I go, look, here's the thing about drugs that your friends are going to be very right about, and you have to make a choice about it.
Right.
Is that drugs are going to be a whole lot of fun. You're going to enjoy yourself very much.
Right.
Now, the thing is that the chances are for most people you're going to get too caught up in them.
Right. Definitely.
So definitely walk in there with caution and do your research before you just start taking
Right.
something somebody hands you.
Something the first time is always pretty awesome. Something the 300th time when you're having to sell your body for it, like
Yeah.
it's not as fun. It's
Yeah.
just you're just trying to catch that first high. But I mean, it's, of course there's different drugs out there that aren't as bad as other ones, but it's like, yeah, I mean,
But bacon's the same way. You
Right,
could probably
exactly.
make a choice early on in life to go, I'm never going to eat bacon. I don't need it. It's not part of my diet,
exactly.
right? And you don't, of course your parents are going to push it on you and be like, eat some of this bacon. It's breakfast time. And you're like,
Yeah.
I guess peer pressure's a bitch.
Right. Yeah, I mean, everybody loves bacon, but I mean that looking back on it, the genius of it is like we named it Baconomics, but looking back, it's so marketable, as like we can cross promote bacon with rap, like so we can make shirts that just say Baconomics, and people will buy them not because they love our record, just because people love bacon, and I think that's the genius behind it that we kind of stumbled onto, because we didn't intentionally run in this with like, how can we cross promote meat with rap? Like it happened that way, and I love it, man. I think it's an awesome concept.
I think you get enough creative people together, you're going to have good things come out of it.
Yeah, and
Definitely Bill, as controversial as he could be, he's
God.
definitely such a smart and very creative guy.
yeah,
Like you cannot fuck with him as far as like, oh, I'm gonna outsmart this guy.
right.
Like, I don't care how smart you are, you're either not gonna outsmart him, or you are just gonna pretty much break even.
Yeah.
Like, there's no like, I've got this guy, I've got his number. He's not one of those people that you could just pull shit
No,
on.
not at all. I mean, and Bill, I think, is half Jew because he argues just as much as me. But and what's funny is everybody always says the contrast of me and Bill is so different. Like I take like an hour to prep on what I'm going to look like at a show, like picking out my clothes for that show, and Bill will show up in pajama pants and
Flip flops.
flip flops. If that's his good look, So it's one of those things, man. Where I and he's got an entire foot on me, height wise, and probably a good 100 pounds, and it's just probably more than 100 pounds, and I'm not a skinny guy by any means, so it's so awesome to see us on stage because it's so different, but somehow we found a way to match up our skill level for a record, which a lot of people like it, man. I'll be honest, man. I think we could have done better. I think we will do better on Baconomics too. And it's just one of those things where you hear yourself and you're like, God, I know I could have did that better.
That's always.
Yeah.
Like, I've probably done about 7 or 8 full, like, not full length, but at least full length and EP recordings.
Right.
And since I've been starting to do music and all that, back in the early 2000s, it's probably when the first time I started recording.
Right.
And always, even the most cleanest, most expensive, overproduced thing that I've done, I still listen to it and go, I could have hit that hi-hat a little harder right there. Or,
Right.
I probably could have made that fill just a little bit tighter. Or I should have done something there that went like this.
Right.
Or on vocals, I'll be like, I probably could have been a little better about staying in key on that part,
Right.
And I always like look back on it, and I think if you rest on your laurels and you say, oh, well, this was perfect, I don't care, I'm a genius,
Right.
and you don't have that mentality of like, next time I'm gonna strike harder.
Right.
Like, if you don't come in with that mentality, then nothing you do is gonna be better than anything else you've ever done.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're always gonna find imperfections, but I mean, I'll say this: like, Travel Guide, my first solo EP, which was on it was on Gitmo, released under Gitmo. Probably, I was working on Baconomics as we were doing Travel Guide, and a lot of my good material went towards Travel Guide. Like my energy, my time, and my thought process went towards Travel Guide, and I was much happier with the way Travel Guide came out as opposed to Baconomics, because I thought Bill rapped like he invested his time into Baconomics, and it came out so awesome. Like I think Bill kills me on this record, even though he says the complete opposite. I don't know whether to believe him or not, but I think Bill rapped so well on this record that on Baconomics 2, I'm gonna have to just go balls to the wall, Superman on it. You know.
Why wouldn't you?
I'm not gonna lie.
I think you did a good job on this one, but
I think I did okay. I think I did.
But if you think you got think you got something better, you got better ammunition.
I'm way better. I got way better ammunition. Like I've been inspired these past couple of months. Like I'm working on actually I'm done with I'm not done with done writing and production wise a new solo album called Grape Soda, which should be out in April, God willing.
You mentioned that in the street interview I did.
Yes.
With you.
Yeah, that should be done in April. I wanted it to be done in March, but guest features, you know how that is. You know, you want to get somebody for a record, and they're like, yeah, sure. Then 5 months later, they're like, oh yeah. And the saddest part is I'm the same fucking way, so I can't really talk shit about anybody. But yeah, like it should be done in April, man. And I'm on. I think the growth that I've had in just months will shine through, and I think Baconomics 2 is going to be, I mean, we've already started pre-production on it, so it's like it's going to be so different.
Yeah, it's weird how people could do that. Like I'm one of those people. It's like I'm really busy,
right?
Most of the time. Like I really wanted to flake out on this. Like I was just like I'm tired. I went to Shreveport yesterday, not Shreveport, but Longview, Texas.
Right.
Almost to Shreveport at that point. Drove out to East Texas, and today I went and had a barbecue, ate a whole bunch of like hamburgers and hot dogs and junk food, and I got back to the house and I really felt like just going to sleep for the rest of today. But when I say I want to be somewhere for something, I try to be there as punctual as possible.
Right.
You know, I got invited to star in a short film recently, and paid and everything. It's cool, like getting money to do it.
It's awesome.
And he was asking me, he was like, "Are these times okay for you?" And I go, "Look, I'm really busy. I'm a busy guy. Like I have 2 jobs.
Right.
But if I say I'll be there at that time and agree to it, I will be there."
Right. Yeah. And what's crazy is like when I saw you perform just recently, like that was the first time I've even met you. I guess not, but in my mind, that was the first time like we've actually at least hung out, kind of. You know what I'm saying? So,
really talked about, like,
right?
Because afterwards we hung out, we talked about something other than ourselves.
Right. Exactly.
I mean,
so I talked about you. I thought I was. Anybody that knows me knows I don't. Number one, I don't really listen to rap. I listen to Jay, Drake, Kanye, or J. Cole, and that's pretty much the only rap that I listen to.
Yeah, we know you listen to Drake.
Everybody knows I listen to Drake. Like I'm the biggest Drake fan. But like even last night we went and saw Star Party, I was like, they're a great band, but like I'm not that guy that's dancing around and enjoying a band like that. I would much rather go see David Allan Coe at Billy Bob's and sit down
David Allan Coe
and fucking watch them perform. Like when I went and saw you, that's what I enjoy. I enjoy sets like that. I don't enjoy rap shows, like unless they're my friends. Like I'm not gonna go to a rap show. Like you won't catch me there at just a random local rap show that I don't have any friends performing at. It's just point blank period.
I think to segue here, I think that you're going to be playing a rap show soon that
yes.
I definitely want to not miss out on. Tell us about that.
Saturday, March 28th. Hopefully this will be out before then, this interview.
Oh yeah, I'm going to probably post this tonight or tomorrow.
Okay. Yes, Saturday, March 28th, this coming Saturday, we're performing where Baconomics is opening up for Kass.
Golden Child.
Yeah, Soul on Ice. If you're not familiar with Kass, you're probably not an older hip hop head, but he used to be with I think he was with G Unit, not G Unit, but
Definitely wasn't with G Unit.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was obviously the worst thing I could have said. But I think he was down with Dr. Dre for a minute. But that was after his, his.
Yeah, he's got stuff he's done with like Mac 10 and Dr. Dre.
Right.
What was that? Ghetto Fabulous. He did that song.
Right. He used to be in the Four
Money
Horsemen.
Make the World Go Round. So let's handle this Ghetto.
Yeah. He used to. That dude dropped one of the illest lines I've ever heard in rap. I mean, he dropped a lot. Like anybody that knows Kass knows he's got.
Do you know the line?
Punchlines, yes.
Which one is
the
it?
The line. He did it with Jizza and. It was
the
on
Lyrical
that
Swords.
Yeah. Was it on the Wu-Tang Think Differently album when he said it? He's talking about the military and he said 18 years old. Tell him to go kill where Saddam at, but I can't have a gat to protect where my mom's at. I was like.
That's pretty real.
That was
dude.
like, wow. That's
way cooler.
yeah.
That's way cooler than mine. That turned me on to him.
I like his my metaphors or meta fives line. That was one of my favorite ones, just because it kind of that was like nowadays like people like she don't got a 4 head, she got a 5 head, or shit like that. Like saying that to a chick, but like he originated those type of punchlines. I think.
I think he was on No Limit back in the day, right?
I don't know.
He was at least on the I don't know if he was on No Limit, but they had compilations.
Was he?
No Limit compilations with him on it.
I can't imagine.
And
that.
I was at Best Buy and I find this CD that was like $2.99, right? Like $2.99. It was No Limit Records presents Voice of the Streets. And it had like Master P and Silk the Shocker and Snoop Dogg and Badass and all these guys on there, right?
Yeah.
And then there was Kass, and I kind of liked a few things off of it.
If he was on there with Badass, because Badass was from the West Coast, so.
And so he's on this compilation. I buy it because I'm just like, that's cheap. I'm gonna buy this compilation.
Right.
And I didn't know who he was. And he has this line, and it's not nearly as cool as the one you mentioned, because that's way more prolific. But I had like a lot of bitterness towards the music industry at the time.
Right.
And he had this line where he goes, "I'm nice. That's part of why I don't be fucking with Sprite, because thirst is nothing. An image is everything on the mic. These days, these DJs get paid under the table. Pay the most popular producer on the most popular label. You get a full-page ad in the most popular magazine. Now you get the most popular new artist, guaranteed." And I was like, that's so true.
Yeah, like his punchline. That's one thing I like about certain rappers, man. It's like when their punchlines are real. The punchline is so much better because it's something to say like, I'm so such and such like such and such. But when you say a punchline, and it's not even, it might not even come across as a punchline. It might just come across as the truth. But the fact that it hits like that makes it a punchline to me. But can't have a gap to protect where my mom's at. Like that, when I was like, I heard that, but like the whole scheme.
It makes you a little bit mad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It makes you like, damn, bro, like this real. Like, so I actually kind of started structuring my punchlines like that. Like, because I used to be one of those, my punchlines didn't really get you anywhere. But then I heard that punchline, and I'm not going to make it seem like I'm the biggest Kass fan. Like I've heard Soul on Ice, and that's probably the only Kass record that I know most of the stuff too,
Yeah.
Which is his first record.
It's all good stuff.
And yeah, you know what I'm saying? But like I still consider that line alone as an influence, because that was done in like mid 2000s, and I heard that and I was like, it made me change how I was rapping and what I was rapping about, So
see like some music, I like to compare like certain artists to food, Baconomics, for example. Right. I like to think of like Kass and like Wu-Tang and stuff like that. I like to think that if you were eating that music, you're shopping at Whole Foods, right? Like you're getting the most substance and like nutrition for your mind. Whereas like some music is cool and it's enjoyable, just like fast food. Like sometimes you don't want to have Eggs Benedict. Sometimes you just want a fucking chili cheese burrito.
Right.
And then, you're going to put on, Tag Team back again, whatever.
Right.
And like that's like it's fun music, and fast food is a lot of fun, but it doesn't really do anything for you.
I mean,
whereas like stuff like Wu-Tang and stuff like that, where like, or like Eminem's, some of his stuff early on, like you're like listening to it, and you're like, your mind is kind of like, it's almost like they're denting your brain into a different shape
Right.
by opening your mind to different thoughts,
Right.
and it's challenging you to think differently.
See, like, that's the crazy thing is, like, I don't really. There hasn't been much rap that has inspired me to think differently, as opposed to just inspired me to. I don't want to say steal somebody's style, but like to adopt something and kind of mold it into my own. Like, I learned most of my stuff through like politics and stuff like that. Mainly, I don't study rap as a I mean, I learned more stuff through rock music, like Pink Floyd. I think the most prolific line I've ever heard in music was did you exchange a lead on part in the war for what do you say?
Walk on part.
Walk on part in the war for a lead role in a cage. And I was it's that line that's such a rap line. Like, I think that's the craziest thing. That's probably the greatest punchline in music ever to me. You don't like that line?
I love it. Like,
that's
Pink
awesome.
Floyd's full of those, man, that really make you think about life. And
Oh yeah.
and you know, you get like 2.5 billion heartbeats in your lifetime, and they're ticking down. Like, if you're lucky, you get that many.
Right.
And they're constantly ticking down. They have that one song in Time,
Right.
where they talk about 10 years have gone behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun.
Right.
You know, like, you can't really look at it in a regretful way.
Right.
I look at it in a, like, what if the starting gun's now? Like, time to go.
Right.
Because you don't want to wait 10 more years and think, man, when I was this age, I could have been doing this. Like,
Right.
do it now. You know what I mean? That song lyric should be your starting gun. And Pink Floyd's full of those, man.
Yeah.
So we're...
See,
Go ahead.
No. I love talking about music all day as opposed to rap music. I mean, I love, you know me, bro. I'm not the typical rapper out here. Like, I don't listen to rap, and you won't see me coming to shows and be like, oh yeah, this is my shit. Like, I won't go and see a rapper. I won't even say local. Like, if it's not somebody that I'm going to see in an arena that I can sit down. Like, I went and saw Red and Meth and Ray and Ghost, and like, even though those are some of my favorite rappers of all time, I was like, man, I'd rather be sitting down watching, I don't know,
I go to all kinds
Steve
of shows.
Warner. You know,
I went and saw B.B. King, Delbert McClinton,
I used to.
and Leon Russell all in one show.
That's awesome. Did you used to watch Bobby Blue Bland used to come up here to Denton and perform every summer for free? Did a free show out there. Oh my God, beautiful, man. Like, and he did that into his 80s.
You should hear Billy. I forget his last name. He's in Star Party, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and hell of a guitar player.
The
Great
lead singer?
songwriter. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But he's like, he comes out on my open mic nights on Mondays, which I know you won't be there, but he comes out and he'll do like.
Why you say it like that, bro?
I say it like that because we've already discussed, like, you're not really a Monday night in Denton kind of guy.
Well, I mean, it's just hard for me because
Yeah, it's got to be the right
Yeah.
occasion.
if I had Tuesday off, I would be there.
Like,
type thing.
you've got so many cards you can cash in to come out here with your time
Right,
and stuff like that,
exactly.
and you don't want to cash in on a little open mic night. I'm the same way about Dallas, the opposite
Right.
end. People are like, hey, you want to come out to my Battle of the Bands in Dallas? They're like, no.
I'm like,
But
nah.
don't take that the wrong way.
Right.
I can only come out to Dallas a few times a month
There's
to
only
enjoy music.
There's only so many nights in the month where I can get less than 8 hours of sleep at my age and feel like I could get through the rest of the year on. Like, if I get 4 hours of sleep on tomorrow, I feel like that's the last time I get to do that for the year.
Sometimes I think that I get home from the bar because I work sound at Andy's,
Right.
and I'll come home after like sweeping up the stage and taking all the mics apart and all that, and I get home and it's like I got to be at work at 8, and it's 2:50. I got home at 2:50. I'm gonna be able to sleep like 3.5 hours. This is gonna be really good.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, I'm such a systematic sleeper. Like, everything has to be perfect. Like, I have to have a white noise on, and that's why I dread going on tour with somebody like Bill, or these guys that are so loud and like,
Just ask for a room on a
Just-
different floor. That's what you do.
yeah, right.
When it's your time to go, don't give them a key or
We'll
nothing.
be lucky if they even
Don't even tell
if
them
they
the room
don't
number.
make us pay for our own rooms. Like this, I'll share this story. Like I used to tour with this one group, and we went not on tour. We went on one 2-city tour, and we all it was 2 hotel rooms for like 10 people, and because I can't sleep in a room full of people, number one, but because I couldn't get more than 2 hours of sleep the first night, I just packed my stuff and went home and said, y'all enjoy the tour. I can't, if I can't sleep, I'm not doing this shit.
That's rough, man.
It is, bro. So it's like, I can't imagine how terrible. I'm just going to have to be so tired that I'm passed out or drunk or something.
I think you just have to build yourself up for it and just do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Even if you're tired, you just have to fight through it. Because I think after a couple days on tour,
Right.
I think you'll be tired enough that you will go
Right.
to sleep.
After seeing Waka Flocka's show, I don't know how he could do that 5 nights a week. That dude is the most live show. I mean, it's funny because I say I like to go to shows where I sit down and enjoy. That Waka Flocka would be like the extreme opposite of what I want to see, but somehow I kind of enjoyed it. Like it was fun watching him. It was really a feat. Like I don't see how anybody like. He had,
That's
like
a show I was really sad I wasn't at. I was actually.
it was crazy. Like
Where were we at? I think we were recording we did a track that's going to be on the Gitmo website.
Okay.
The FAPS. We did a track that's going to be on the Gitmo website when
I
it
saw
comes out.
the
And
I
it's
saw y'all
called,
recording that.
I don't know if that's already dropped, the website, or what. Like, I'm just so busy I don't pay enough attention.
Right.
But we did the recording for Keldrick, and so he'd have something that's actually Gitmo's product for us to put on the website.
Okay.
So that's where we were at while that was going on, and I was like, man, that sucks that I wasn't there.
Right. Can I ask you something? As a punk rock, like what's considered punk rock? What do you consider in that genre? Because I'm not hugely familiar in punk rock. Like I know Green Day, and that's my extent. Would you consider the Cars punk rock or no? Or like a predecessor? I guess I don't know if that's
those guys probably just fall into the realm of just rock.
okay.
Nowadays, I think some people would have considered them new wave back then, so kind of.
What about
The Cars
Cheap Trick?
were a little ahead of their time. Cheap Trick, some people consider them a little bit punk,
okay?
but those guys actually are mods, which are a group of people that, like, I don't know a whole lot about mods, but I know they love to ride scooters,
Okay.
and they wear like coats and stuff and dress
Okay.
real nice. They dress really good. There's like a whole British subgenre of I guess like punk type of
Okay.
people that would be at a punk show or would be at a ska show
Yeah.
in Europe, and mods, rude boys, punk rockers, skinheads.
Okay.
And skinheads get a lot of bad rep, but not all of them are Nazis. It's not like
Right.
if you're a skinhead, you're a Nazi. It's actually the opposite. There's more not Nazi skinheads than there are Nazi skinheads.
Right.
So skinhead is another thing that, you would see at punk or ska. So basically punk rock is more of a social movement and as far as the other side of the pond goes.
Just kind of like an anarchist
There
feel
was
to it. Or?
there was a lot of poverty going on. There was a lot of the government kind of promising things and saying, we're going to build a bigger, better England and things like that. And there was a war going on. There was a war going on halfway across the world that they were involved in that had nothing to do with the British people, and that was in the Falklands. So they're really mad at that. They were mad at their prime minister at the time, which was Margaret Thatcher. Okay. So like there's all this like political turmoil going on that fueled a revolution of punk music. So you had bands like The Exploited and Sex Pistols and all this stuff,
Right.
and they were just rebelling against society and against the government.
Well, Ramones were punk rock.
The
right?
Ramones
Considered or no?
they're considered by many the godfathers of punk.
Okay.
They started in the 70s and everything.
I guess it would be like calling Led Zeppelin the godfathers of metal, maybe.
Yeah, or Black Sabbath or stuff like that.
Even though it's not what you would consider metal now.
Don't get me wrong, Ramones are punk and they'll always be punk.
Right.
But they were the American side, which I was going to get to.
Okay.
Which the American side was definitely rebellious, but it was a different type of rebellious on the American side. It was a little bit more social amongst the people, I guess you'd say. Like they were kind of tired of the music that was coming out. There was a lot of like a band that I hear a lot of references to is Emerson, Lake and Palmer, which is a great band, by the way. They've got like 5-minute, 10-minute long solos and stuff in their songs, and it got so overdone, and punk rock was just like, we're going to take what we know, which is basically about 4 or 5 chords, and we are going to belt them out, and we're going to put our poetry and our music over it. And
so is that how you get like a lot of the music start like it's like it has that certain riff.
It's got a downbeat to it.
Yeah.
It's got like a da 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 da.
Kind of like how Johnny Cash has his type of sound. Like
Luther Perkins is a great example of punk before there was punk.
Right. Like it's just
there's a famous scene in the Johnny Cash Walk the Line movie that's historically accurate, and he's sitting backstage with Elvis's guitar player, and Elvis's guitar player plays this crazy lick, and he's like, "Hey Luther, how come you don't ever play stuff like that?" And then Luther Perkins goes, "It's because I already found it, and you're still looking for it."
Yeah. That's awesome.
So yeah, there was bands back then. They found a sound that they liked.
Right.
It was angry. It had noise to it, and I think that more than anything, a lot of people can argue about, because it's a deep argument.
Yeah,
where people are like,
I don't know that
punk,
much.
And this isn't punk.
I can't argue because I'm not that familiar. That's why I'm learning now. Like I'm letting you speak. I'm interviewing you.
But yeah, for those of you out there that aren't really familiar with punk, I think punk is about having a voice where a lot of people maybe wouldn't have. You know, I think some things in the rap culture are very punk. I think some things in
Stu Brutal
is a very punk rock rapper. And he is a punk rocker.
I think so. Like that I consider that punk rock. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, but I mean, I consider him like punk rap. I guess. I mean, that should be a cool term. But like that, and like I think the Beastie Boys were a punk rock band before.
Yeah, they throw down some punk stuff.
I think that's cool.
They even kind of did a throwback to it on their Ill Communication album. A few of their songs, they had like Heart Attack Man and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's dope, man. Like what's crazy is like I wanted Baconomics to be like kind of like the party group of rap. Like I wanted it to be fun more, because there's a lot of our subject matter is real deep, but like if you see our stage show, we like to have fun on stage. We like to do stupid shit. Like, and I feel like if we were on tour, we would be the guys tearing up hotel rooms and starting fires. Shout out to anybody that books us for tours after this.
Bring a fire extinguisher.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I feel like we would do shit like that just to do it, but I don't feel like that's necessarily punk. But I mean, it's like, that's why I kind of wanted to learn more about punk, just because I don't know that much, man. And like, I feel the crazy thing is like, being out here in the Denton scene, I'm in Dallas, like I only had to worry about speaking hip hop to people, and I know hip hop already. So it's like, but like when I come out to Denton, people start shouting names of groups that I've never heard of, and I just kind of like, as a fan of music, I want to listen to new stuff that's not so necessarily new, but new to me.
I'll tell you what we'll do. In about a month,
okay,
I'll have you back on the podcast.
Okay.
Between now and then, I will get to you in your hands a basic like 10-song compilation.
Okay.
I'll make half of it be like a certain era of punk.
Okay.
You know, and then the other half of it be kind of a different era. I'll try to split it up a little bit. That'd and just awesome. try to give you kind of like a 10-minute tour.
Okay.
You know, it'd be longer than that because it's 10 tracks. But,
right. So
like, let's say a half-hour tour. It's punk music, so 20 minutes actually.
Okay.
20-minute tour of basic punk music. I'll put some real popular stuff that if you were hanging out with a bunch of punk rockers, like, yeah, everybody knows that song.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I'll kind of pre-give it to you.
You'll probably, like, if it's Green Day, that's probably the only, like, real punk that I've really heard.
I'll get a little bit more underground than
Okay,
that.
good. Yeah, I was gonna say if it's Green Day, it's probably the only punk that I know. So
And Green Day is a cool punk band.
They are.
I'm
I
very
mean, it's
inspired by
just-
them.
I wouldn't say I'm inspired. I definitely think they are they're like the U2 of punk, or something like that.
That's
but
pretty accurate.
that's why it's like I don't like to say I listen, because I hate people that do that. They'll be like, I listen to reggae, I listen to Bob Marley all the time, or I listen to rock, I listen to U2 and the fucking Aerosmith, and I'm like, man, that's like it's like saying, I'm a huge fan of basketball. Michael Jordan is awesome. Like you can't. I don't really, and I'm not a fan of Aerosmith or U2 really. I think Joshua Tree is a great album, but other than that, I'm like, this stuff is really kind of boring to me.
So yeah, that basically the project's gonna be. I'll
Okay.
I'll
Well,
forward
I'm sorry,
you.
I'll get off
Oh
of it.
yeah, we could probably talk for hours.
Oh yeah.
Which is why we're at we're almost at an hour.
Okay. Awesome.
So here's the deal. I'm gonna get you this CD in advance.
Okay.
I'll give you 2 or 3 weeks to kind of mull it over, listen to it a few times on the way to work or whatever, and get your thoughts on stuff where you're like, oh, I like that, or I don't like that, or this all sucks.
Okay.
But I have questions, things like that, and then we'll go over it, and I'll mention what songs that I gave you, and then you can kind of go, well, this one in particular,
Okay.
set with me a little bit, or this one kind of pissed me off, or this one, made me happy, or whatever the situation is. We'll talk about it, and I'll answer your questions regarding those, and then hopefully some people can comment and say stuff about it.
Yeah, man, that'll be fun. Being that I like country and rock, like deep rock ballads, so give me some punk that I can probably feel as opposed to just
Social
hear.
Distortion, right up your alley.
What's that?
Oh yeah,
Is it a group or is that a song?
That's a group. Yeah.
Okay.
They're really popular.
Okay.
But so Mike Ness is the lead singer. I'm not actually a huge fan, but because you like country, and you're interested in punk, Social Distortion is probably gonna be like, you're gonna be like, yeah, I can kind of
Okay.
feel this dude.
Okay.
But so basically with that, we're gonna wrap it up for this
All right,
for
let's
this
wrap it
show.
up.
And it's been a huge pleasure sitting
Oh,
here
man, I love-
in my semi-warm car talking with Mr. Blaze One today.
Luckily, it's only 60 degrees. If it was 90 degrees outside, we'd have to sit down and somewhere. But yeah, man, this is the funnest part of rap to me, is doing stuff like this. Like, I practice doing interviews and talking. Like, it's what I love. So thank you for having me.
All right. Well, this was DFW Local Zero, Episode 2, featuring Mr. Blaze One.
Huh?
I want to thank you so much for listening. Check us out on Facebook, DFW Local Zero, and definitely check us out on YouTube. We have lots of skits and other videos and podcasts at The Show Old School. Thank you for listening.
Holla.